Hey, it's Frank Klesitz, the CEO of Viral Marketing. Welcome to another live database marketing hangout where we talk about all things getting more sales from your database, from your past clients, your customers, your unconverted prospects, all of those emails, all those contacts you have sitting in that generally untapped or underleveraged asset in your business. How do we extract the most value out of that database, and how do we build that database? How do we communicate with it? And then how do you prioritize follow-up with that huge database? Who is actually interested in that database that you should be reaching out to either for feedback or referral or maybe even possibly a new client or customer? So on the Hangout today, we have Kelly Fischer. Kelly Fischer is a great client of ours down at Viral Marketing. Big client for about 2 years. Is that right, Kelly?
Maybe a little bit more.
A little more than 2 years?
Yeah.
She's in a very small market in Florida. She's a real estate professional in Vero Beach. How many people are in Vero Beach, Florida? And where's that at, if you could tell us?
Vero Beach is a small beachfront community on the east coast of Florida, about halfway down the state. So we are midpoint between, say, Orlando Airport and West Palm Airport.
Okay, how many people are there?
About 140,000 people here, but it is some very seasonal, so people are kind of in and out all times of the year. And
your average selling price is what?
It's funny to pinpoint an average selling price because we've got very low end and we've got ultra luxury 15, 20 million. So most people are buying in the 200 to 800 range is probably the sweet spot in our market.
Okay. So what we're going to do is, Kelly has a great story. She basically 11 years ago came to Vero Beach and didn't know a soul and built a very successful real estate business for herself and started in the business very straight prospecting, no marketing, and then slowly started to dabble in some marketing to get that to really work. And we're going to talk about that in transition. So if you're stuck, like I said in the title today, prospecting 100% for all your business, and the grind is wearing on you, and it's a little bit too emotionally exhausting to keep doing that all the time for the long term, we're going to talk about how to complement that, not replace it, but how to complement it to soften that grind so business hopefully becomes a little bit easier. And Kelly's a great example of someone who's successfully done that without sacrificing profitability, still is a rainmaker, still has basically 2 people on your team. You have an assistant and someone handling buyers, correct?
Correct, yes.
Yep. And if you're interested, there's no selling on this Hangout. If you're interested in learning more about viral marketing, how we're helping Kelly and other professionals lessen that prospecting ground with some great database marketing through educational videos, just go to our website, getviral.com, V-Y-R-A-L. You can see all of the examples, how everything works, success stories, all that stuff. It's all up on the site, pricing, you name it. And then you can request a free strategy session with a senior partner here at our firm so we can kind of figure out what results you could get based upon your business and your database and so on and so forth. So with that being said, Kelly, let's get into the interview and tell everyone what they want to know of how you've lessened the grind of prospecting. Let's start with
back to the beginning.
Well, back to the beginning. So you're just
the very, very, very beginning.
You were a realtor in New York for a while. You moved to Vero Beach. You set foot in Vero Beach. What do you do to start your business?
I think you have to back up a little bit.
Let's back up farther.
Back up farther. 2003, I get licensed to sell real estate, and I walk in my first day in their office. And they say, here's a desk and here's a phone. And I went, oh my gosh, okay. So that was my first introduction to real estate, was pick up the phone and start calling people. And that's what I did. I didn't have any scripts. I didn't have any experience. I didn't know what I was doing, but I just did that because that's what they told me. Here's a desk and a phone. And I spent the first 5 years as, your typical agent, 10, 12 deals a year. And that was okay. The kids were little. My husband had a full-time job. And I just kept doing that, thinking, hey, I'm a hotshot. I'm doing 12 deals a year here. A couple of years later, moved out further on Long Island and ran into a bunch of people that were involved in a coaching organization, and they were all the top producers in the company. And then I got a little bit more focused and learned how to use the telephone to generate business. And I started to do that. And I spent a couple of years doing that, getting the business going even more. And then, lo and behold, let's just move to Florida where I knew nobody. So I had 10 years of experience under my belt, but no contacts. But now I had a new system to actually go out and find business for myself. And that's what I did. I mean, the first 5 years here in Florida, I was on the phone hitting the FSBOs, the expireds, just listed, just sold calls all day, every day, 4 or 5 hours a day. And it was working. And it still works. But it becomes a grind after a while.
So you just landed in Vero Beach and you start getting phone numbers and making calls, setting appointments.
It was actually quite funny because the other people that worked at the company that I joined the first time, they had never seen anything like this before. And so they were looking at me like, is this all this girl does all day long? She just calls people all day long. And I had other agents, like Christmas parties. Oh, I could never do what you do. I could never take the rejection. How do you even do that? And I used to say, you don't have to do it. It's okay, because I'm going to, and I'm going to get the business. And I just kept doing it. I mean, I actually enjoy prospecting. It's a lot of fun, and I love talking to all the different people.
So at the peak of your prospecting, before the grind started to wear on you, how many calls a week? Can you give me like an idea of what that tipping point was? The tipping point where like, this is about as much as this I can do? Really,
when I got to the point where the most calls I was ever making was between 50 and 60 a day. And I would usually have one day a week when my goal would be at least 100. And then I would do, weekends, and it's great. It's fun. It works. But then there comes a point where you actually have so much business that it's really hard to find the time to do that as well. And so you start to look for other avenues and things that you can do to get more people calling you, more inbound calls and outbound calls. And one of the things that really drove the decision to start looking for that was when I had the big aha moment that so few people have home phone numbers anymore. It's really hard to get in touch with a large part of the population through those outbound telephone calls like we used to.
Okay. So at that point, you decided, I need to find a different way to get people to call me, because you just couldn't do your prospecting anymore because you're servicing clients, or do it at the level you wanted to be able to do it. And you also mentioned it's hard to get the phone numbers of the people as the years went on. What were your options?
Yeah, I saw the writing on the wall. I said, I've got to find other avenues, because I'm not going to be able to get people on the phone the way I have before everyone on the planet had an iPhone. And so, yeah, you can spend all this money on newspaper advertising, which we all know doesn't work. And I think I was really an early adopter of social media for the same reason, because I could begin to develop a pretty good list of people and position myself as someone who is at least someone to consult in our marketplace, someone that can be visible in the real estate realm, and get people to either message me, call me, whatever they're going to do. And also the thing that's been interesting about it is when I have people call me and say, hey, so-and-so, I'm just watching your background.
Got a coffee.
Say, hey, so-and-so saw you posted this house on Facebook, or they saw you on Google, or they saw this, and they said, or they heard you on the radio. And so I'm calling you because I have a house to sell. And half the time, I don't even know the person that referred them to me. And it's just really incredible to watch the scope of what marketing can do for you. And a lot of it's not even within your control.
Well, I want to talk about this transition to actually spending the money on marketing, because for all those years, it was 6 years you were prospecting before you did any marketing in Florida. Is that right?
Right. Yes.
6 years. You had to say, okay, you did it right. You prospected. You're a great salesperson. You were making money. So you didn't like borrow the money for the marketing or tap into savings for it. You're financing the marketing out of your cash flow, which is the right way to do it, to bootstrap it. Talk to me about the process of what was the first marketing item you spent money on and the result of that, and what your thought process was of stroking that check, and how big was it for that first marketing expense?
Well, first of all, I was always, I was taught early on to focus on profitability, keeping the money I earn and not spending it frivolously, and not spending it on things that would generate business not as quickly as the prospecting would. And so I really was always very tight with my marketing expenses. And I tried to buy leads from websites, and they were buyer leads, and the conversion that you can get on buyer leads is so low to begin with. So I realized pretty fast that was a waste of time. And I really wanted to get the seller leads. I mean, that's what I've always been after. That's what I do. I mean, I'm a marketing person who happens to sell real estate. And so it was, just finding avenues where I could reach the most potential sellers at the lowest cost to do it. And
what was your first expense? What was the first check you wrote to market yourself?
I think it was radio. That was really the beginning. I was invited to join a very exclusive radio network of agents from around the country, top agents in a lot of different markets. I was one of the first ones into that network. And I learned from those people what they were doing and how they were operating their businesses and their business models and their teams. And just by following those models, it enabled me to just have more exposure to different people.
Well, that's a pretty big jump to go from prospecting to buying radio. I mean, how much did you start off on? I mean, that's
well, that was my. I actually resisted that for a really long time, and the person who runs that network, I mean, he was just so suave and so, I don't know, he was just very subtle about pursuing me as the agent he wanted in this market. And eventually I realized, and looking back, I'm so grateful that I took that leap of faith and did it, because it's been tremendous for my business. But I have to go back again to the time in New York, Frank, because there was I mean, if she ever watches this, she's going to laugh, but I think I've told her this story. There was an agent in my market in Suffolk County, New York. Her name was Rita. And I'd be prospecting, and every person I talked to practically, or it felt that way at the time, every person I talked to would say, oh, I'm going to list with Rita. I'm going to list with Rita. I'm going to list with Rita. And I'd be going, damn, this Rita, I can't get past this Rita thing. So when I got here to Florida, I said, I'm going to be Rita. I'm going to figure out how to be Rita in Vero Beach, Florida, and I'm going to be Rita. And that was really my goal all along, was to be the person that everyone knew my name.
Now, when I hear that, I hear you spending all of your marketing and there's no profit.
No.
But that's not.
I mean, it's almost all profit. I mean, I don't spend a lot of money. And, you know, most traditional real estate companies, as you know, are going to tell you, oh, you have to run these big splashy newspaper ads and you have to do this and you have to do that. And I'm saying, really, you want me to spend $1,000 for a full page ad on the newspaper? Nobody even reads newspapers anymore. And every now and then I say, okay, well, maybe I'll try it and see, you know, what happens from it. And then Sunday newspaper gets printed. Sunday night, you go to bed, nope, you didn't get a single phone call from that $1,000 ad, and you go, why did I just do that? That was silly.
Okay, so you have this attitude of this total brand presence, and it's probably a little more expensive to do that in Vero Beach than, say, like in Manhattan, right? Because you can reach.
Well, no, that was the good thing about Vero Beach, being that we're such a small market. All the marketing that I did was pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm. Except for the. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's less expensive to do it where you're at than some other markets.
I mean, the radio, forget it. It was. I mean, there were agents that were spending upwards of $20,000 a month on radio, and mine was like $2,000.
Yeah, you can get away with getting the radio presence for $2,000 in that market. But let me ask you this: do a lot of the sellers live there, or are they out of the market when you're doing radio? And I don't want to dive into radio. I'm just trying to get into
I get it.
The thought process behind the marketing. Then we're going to jump to the next thing.
It wasn't just reaching each specific seller. It was more of becoming the person that everyone, whether they're here full time or part time, when they say, I know who she is, and I'm going to consider her when it's time to do something with my real estate.
So you did the radio. You spent money on that.
Mm-hmm.
People started calling you. That had been a good feeling.
Yeah.
And then from what you were spending the $2,000 on radio, you were getting enough listings to easily get your 10x, 20x ROI. What's the number of ROI you're looking on your advertising spend?
It's funny because it's hardly even trackable anymore. And every time someone calls our office looking to buy or sell a home, of course, that's one of the first questions on our intake script is, you know, how did you happen to hear of us? Why did you call us today? And 9 times out of the 10, the people will say something to the effect of, how would I not call you? I see you, I hear you, you're everywhere. And then maybe they know someone that did business with us, but overall, it's like I said, it's kind of a blanketing of the entire market. And like, I always feel like I'm in a unique position because my market is so small that I've been able to achieve that. I don't know if people in big cities can really tackle that without spending a lot more money. Or
you have to do probably more through direct mail or prospecting to a certain niche area.
Yeah, you know, I really don't do any direct mail. I mean, no,
okay.
It's just
so you did radio with the idea of being Rita.
Yes.
Right? And you're doing that for a while. What was the next item you spent money on? So now you're at about $2,000. You're about $2,000 a month of advertising spend.
Mm-hmm.
I think. How long, and then what was the next thing you spent on?
Well, then of course all the people that were involved with radio were involved with viral. So I started. You know, then now I had a visible platform where I could be, the actress in me could come out and I could start, you know, using some of my creative ideas and things I wanted to put out there and just having a platform. Well, actually, it kind of transitioned from, I actually did my own radio show for a while. And I love that because I'm a Leo. So Leo wants to be the center of attention at all times. And once I abandoned my radio show, it was like, now I can be a video source of information for people in the real estate market, and also be creative, come up with topics, either by myself, something that's relevant to what's going on in the world or in our market, or with topics that I get from Viral, and just to put my own creative spin on them. And I think that the audience enjoys it because it can be fun. And it's not always just, hey, this month 450 homes sold or anything like that. It's just being a little bit more playful with the audience.
Okay. So the second thing was hiring Viral. So now you're in 2,550 a month.
Yes.
Is there any other marketing spend that's being spent? Because I want to give people a perspective of what's being spent to acquire this business and to achieve what you've achieved in your small market.
No, I'm not really paying for any leads or anything like that. I mean, the calls come all the time. You know, this zip code's available, and I'm like, no. Okay.
So let's dive into the Viral marketing plan, which is getting email addresses, making videos people want to watch, and then following up the people that watch them. That's the plan. So let's talk about, so you just can't make a video and just post it.
Well,
no one's going to find it. I mean, you got to promote it. So how did you build the audience and the emails? How'd you get those?
Well, the funny thing is, you know, last week, a fellow here in town that has a financial services business, he asked me if I would go to lunch with him, and he wanted to learn basically what we're doing today, how he could do this for his business. Now, that's a much more regulated thing where financial people, they can't do a lot of this stuff. It's really hard for them. But the crux of it was that, you know, how do you reach the audience? And for me, again, it goes back to when I realized that people don't have phone numbers anymore that are obtainable. There's got to be another way. And so I became very hyper aware of, like I said, both social media and email addresses. And now my database is probably about 8,000 or 10,000 people of email addresses. I mean, it's almost like I went to the point of, I would go through the local newspapers and any periodicals I could find that had, you know, like the editor-in-chief, the creative editor, all the people on the mastheads of the magazines, and I added all those to my database. I mean, you name it. If I could get my hands on an email address, they went into the database, right? They can opt out, but normally what I try really hard to introduce myself to people that are in our local community in one way, shape, or form, so that when they I want to meet them either in person or virtually or on social media, introduce myself, say hello, and then put them in there. And then, you know, I don't get very much opt out. So people seem to be
When did you decide to start asking for emails?
Right when it had to be like 2007 when I realized, I mean, our market's small anyway, so we wouldn't have that many expireds or for sale by owners. And I'm going, I can't get these people on the phone. If I can't get these people on the phone and this trend continues as we go forward, and I knew that it would, I'm never going to get anybody on the phone anymore. So really, what choice will I have but to have their email address or to have them in my circles of social media? So really trying to adopt as many different platforms as I could and having email addresses.
So it's not only really getting their email address, you're also connecting them on LinkedIn, Facebook.
As many as I can find. I mean, that alone is a full-time job. I mean, everybody's everywhere, right?
Yeah. Okay. And then over the past 8 years. So over the past 8 years, you built up a database of like 8,000 emails. Ideally, hopefully, most of those emails, you've actually met those people and give you permission to bring into your list.
Of course.
Right?
Yes. I know. I don't want it to sound like I'm just spamming the world, because that's not the case at all.
Well, you're not. And
No, not at all.
Even if one's even like a gray area, it's still education-based marketing. It's not like trying to sell numbers.
Right.
So you're always good on that part. So I would say your emails really came from you being out in the community, and then from your phone prospecting, you're asking for email addresses. How many people would you say in a given week are you adding to your database right now?
I would say I probably add 20 to 25 people a week.
And they come from being in the community and talking on the phone?
It's just so super deliberate. Every single person I talk to, I have to ask them, would you be interested in our biweekly newsletter to know what's going on in our market? And I mean, I don't know why. People don't want to give out their cell phone numbers, but they have no problem giving you their email address. Like, sure, here it is, okay.
Great. All right. So
I
you
don't
bring
get mine at all anymore.
So you get the email address, you bring it into your database. Now, what do you use? What is your database of choice to manage all these people and all these relationships?
Right now, I've had the same database for years and years. We use Top Producer for our CRM and for our transaction management.
Okay. Is there any way that you segment those emails? Are they just all in one big list and they all go into one segment? Or do you have like certain ways that you organize those contacts to know maybe specific audiences?
Basically, when it comes to sending out the videos go out to everyone except the local real estate community. We do not send them out to agents. But they are segmented as to whether they were a past client, whether a buyer or a seller, whether they were a sale by owner, expired listing, a listing prospect, a buyer. Whatever they are, they do get segmented that way, but it's not really terribly specific.
Is there a reason why you segment it? Because as far as I know, they're all getting the 2 videos a month.
Yeah.
Do you have other communication they receive?
I mean, I know a lot of people do segment their lists and drive things to, if they use something like Infusionsoft or something like that. But to me, I mean, I think the information that we put out is relative content to just about anyone, so I don't feel the need to segment it.
Okay. So about 20, 30 emails a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. So you're building yourself a nice audience.
I don't know. Is that a good number?
Very good, Kelly. I mean, I would say if you're adding 3 solid email, let me just put the numbers. What we teach at Viral Marketing is if you're adding 3 solid people you've met email addresses to your database a day, that's 3 a day, 15 a week, Monday through Friday, 60 a month, 60 a month, or 720 in a year. You're adding thousands to your database. Right.
And the other thing that we are focusing on too is obviously, a lot of times agents will have clients and they've only got one party to their client, right? And they'll have the email address of just the husband and not the wife. And we're really being very deliberate about doubling that by having both of them because they each have their own separate sphere of influence. So why shouldn't they both see our stuff?
Great. So I think it's pretty straightforward to how you get your email addresses. You ask for them, you share something of value, and then you bring them into your top producer.
Correct.
So now you're sitting on this audience, you're sitting on all this permission to communicate. Mm-hmm. What do you send them that they actually want to receive? Let's talk about how you come up with the ideas and the topics.
It's really an awareness of what's going on in the community and what's going on in the world and what people are interested in. For instance, we had one day this past winter, of course we're in Florida, so winter is not really a normal occurrence here. And everyone was, having 40 inches of snow, Boston, all over the place. And we were down here, and I think it was like 55 degrees. Now, of course, when you live in Florida, your blood thins out, and 55 degrees here, I'm freezing. So I dug out my big furry winter coat with the big, fuzzy hood and the whole thing, and I went down to the beach and made a video about how it was freezing in Vero Beach that day. And that was a video that everyone really loved. It was very popular, and I had fun doing it. So it's just something that, we're all so bombarded with messages all day, every day. It's something that's going to cause someone to stop and go, what is she doing?
Like a really good screenshot in that email.
Yeah, like what is she doing in the winter coat? It's 55 degrees in Florida. We're up here, it's like -12. People love that video. So just being aware of what's going on around you. When we had the Blue Angels in town last year, I did a video from the Blue Angels show down at the airport. So just looking for the opportunities. And I know a lot of people are they're so stuck in the day-to-day mundane of whatever's going on, but not really paying attention to what could be very relevant content for their audience.
Well, you've had training at this because you had your radio show. You had to show up to the radio show with something to say, so that creative side of your brain has been developed to think about this might be useful to share, and you're comfortable sharing those things from the radio show that you've done, where it's naturally easy for you.
Right.
But for someone, and I just want to give a tip here, for someone where that's not naturally easy for you, the best topics are questions. So questions that your audience or your customers or prospects ask. And I know many of you are in real estate on the Hangout today. Generally, what we recommend is 2 educational videos to your database every month, 1st and the 15th. And then 12 of those 24 topics for the year is really answering one question. What's happening with home prices? Or where is the price of my home heading? Like a market update. That's the best headline. And then you can pick, for the other remaining 12, 6 buyer tips, 6 seller tips. Questions sellers ask, questions buyers ask, questions you should be asking, you just answer them. Because a question and answer is so much more easier. Like this is obviously a very easy hangout. We're like, 25 minutes into content? We're just having a conversation. A question and answer conversation is so much more easier to create something than like having to sit there in front of a camera and like do a topic. That's why I'm a big
But,
fan of
and,
Q&A.
and all you really have to do is ask the people you talk to on a regular basis. I don't know if you know, but I do monthly videos or bi-monthly videos or however often you want to do them. And we're always looking for topics. What kinds of things interest you right now about what's going on in the real estate market? Is there anything you'd like to see me cover? And I'd be happy to research it and present it in video format to answer your questions. And people love that because they just, I think everyone wants an audience.
Yeah. Another idea while we're on this topic that works well is just rounding up all the emails you have and just sending them a simple email saying, hey, I'm Frank Klesitz. I'm still selling real estate. I don't want to be a secret agent by any means. Ha, ha, ha. And I want to answer questions for my new video blog. Email me back with a question about real estate and I'll be happy to answer it. Mm-hmm. That has given a lot of questions. And another thing, another one that I've heard done really well is maybe you have someone for $10, $12 an hour in your office just as a kind of a customer care specialist in some way. And they start calling all your past clients and centers of influence on behalf of you saying, hey, Kelly wanted me to reach out to you and she's making videos to keep you updated on the real estate market. Do you have any questions that she could ask? And I'll pass them along to her. Mm-hmm. That's it. And then by the way, who do you know who's looking to buy or sell a house?
Having a reason to call is never a bad thing.
It's a good reason to call. So let's talk about the topics. You're very good at coming up with ones that are very timely, market specific, interesting. You have a very natural talent at that. You do, Kelly. Let's talk about the webcam interview style. That I remember when we first shot your webcam video, you were just so happy at how painless it was. Can you go through?
You made it really easy.
Just tell us about that process, because I know getting in front of a camera and going down to the beach with the camera takes a little bit. You got to work here up to that level. When you first started, tell us about the process of shooting videos.
I used to watch everybody else's videos and say, wow, they're out in the field, they're out doing this, making fun videos. And, I used to watch Lisa a lot because Lisa does amazing videos. And I'd say, God, mine are so boring. I'm sitting in the office. They're so boring. I got to figure out how to get out of here. And I moved from, having the camera that you sent me to on top of the computer, which actually my cat took care of that by chewing through the cord. So I had no choice but to look for another option. And then you said, okay, we're going to get you this microphone thing that you can put on your iPhone. And I mean, forget it. I was free at that point. Then I could just go anywhere and do anything. And it just was so easy to do.
Well, because we started off and we trained you. So one of the things we did with Kelly to get her going is we shipped her a webcam like this. And then we Skyped in basically, for lack of a better term, and just interviewed you to create the video. It was fast.
Right.
But then you're like, I want to go out. I need to be free to make my videos.
Get me out of here.
Yeah. So if you go to smartlav.com, SMARTLAV.com, like $60, you can buy this little lav mic that plugs into your iPhone, whatever you have, and then you just lav yourself up so your sound is good.
And then we got the selfie stick going. And
you got the selfie stick going? Oh, you got it all. Great.
We're all set now.
Okay. So your videos are about maybe 2-3 minutes in length. And where could someone go? I wish I should have posted this, but do you know the address of your blog or what they type in on YouTube if they want to go see your videos right now?
KellyFisherTeam.tv.
KellyFisherTeam.tv. They can see all your videos and all your topics that you publish there. Great.
Yeah. And then I started going out and doing some property tours and different things. Like I did a video a couple of weeks ago where I had my photographer in the background, and I did a video about the importance of professional photography and how not all agents are going to give you the same level of service, even though you're spending the same amount of money in a commission eventually. And so and there's Scott again. I've got a note on my door. I guess you don't. And making it interesting. So having the photographer in the background, using that as leverage for him, where he can actually share the video because he's in the video, and using that on social media, like, hey, I was over at Kelly's, listing today, and he's helping promote my properties because he was there when I was doing a video. I mean, there's so many things you can do with it if you're creative.
Now, this is something I have to say, because I'm trying to read between what you're saying, because I'm trying to find like behavior and really what makes you successful. For so many people, it's hard to pull themselves out of this habitual habit of just calling and making more dials and talking to more people. That to get out of that mindset, that probably works like the logical left side of the brain, and to all of a sudden, like at 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, not do that, and to go to the beach and shoot a video is like very hard to make that shift. When you're so in it.
You know what's harder? What's harder is the fact that I actually always loved prospecting, and it's been harder for me to get back to that because I want to do that, and I know that I should do that, because my training is so deep and ingrained, and for so many years that I did do that, that now that my brain is so far to the other side, to the marketing end, it's almost like I have to create some pain for myself to rediscipline myself to do that as well.
Yeah, it's almost a fear of losing the edge of doing the prospecting when you go off and do all this creative marketing stuff.
Oh yeah, because for sure. I mean, my skill level is not what it used to be with prospecting, because I have ventured so far into the marketing side of things. And
one more thing I want to talk about this transition, because I see this a lot even with training salespeople, is that prospecting the deals right here. It's like right in front of your face. You can see the immediate result.
That's
right?
true. Yes.
Whereas with what you're doing, it's like so far out. Anything you can say on that, of how you had to change your mindset a bit?
It's definitely changed the way I approach leads that come into my fold, because I realize now that even though it used to be, we were trained, if someone's not going to do something in the next 7 to 10 to 14 days, move on, right? Because they're not really prospects. They're just kind of hoping that someday down the road they might do something in real estate. Now, those people that come into our fold, I don't just I don't want to use the word toss them aside, because that's not a nice way to say it, but I don't just say, hey, when you're ready to do something, let's talk again. Here's my number. Now I say, can I get you into our database so I can continue to stay in touch with you and give you some educational information about what's going on in our market, so that when you are ready, so it's just a shift in mindset from where we were before, which is they're not ready and who knows if they ever will be, to, let's start to cultivate and develop a relationship with these people, because they're not ready now, but there may come a time when they will be.
Okay. So you're doing radio.
Mm-hmm.
You're publishing 2 educational videos a month. How much time does it take you to do the 2 videos a month? Being a client of Viral. So here at Viral, we edit them, we send them out, we do all that work, but you still got to shoot your videos. So how much time a month are you investing into the actual shooting of the videos?
20 minutes.
That's not bad.
I know, because I'm like one take Kelly. My coach loves me, because she'll go, we'll get on our call on Tuesday and she'll say, I need some videos. And I'll say, how many do you want? She goes, I don't know, 2 or 3. So I'll think about it for a little while. And then the next day I'll get the microphone and I'll go on site or wherever. And I will just basically start to finish, no editing required, just do the video and send them over to her. It's not difficult. And that's, that doesn't happen.
Here's the deal. I want everyone to know you are advanced. That is an advanced strategy for you to go do that. But you're just as fine coming into your webcam and shooting your webcam video with your coach here at Viral Marketing to get you started. We'll even read the lines to you, just repeat them back, and we can edit up a really good word to get you a really good video to get you started. Yeah, that's fantastic.
But it's not always like that. There are some times when you're sitting there in front of the camera and you're like, blah, 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 wait, stop, let me start over, blah, blah, and you're just like, okay, today is not my day. I'm not doing this today. Let's try this again tomorrow, because some days you just can't hit it. But to me, the ones that can just run from start to finish and be a complete video with one train of thought and you just nail it the first time, those are always the best videos.
All right. So let's move on from videos. We talked about getting email addresses. We talked about creating the 2 educational videos a month, 20 minutes, and you go off and just create your own amazing content, which is fantastic. All right. But you started somewhere, which is probably just the radio show of coming up with what to say. Right. Mm-hmm. Then the last part of the plan is, you've been very fortunate where so much of your business has just come passively. So by doing the radio, by being out in the community, by sending these videos out, and by optimizing them probably to get found when people are searching, right, when they're Googling you, because they probably hear on the radio, then they go and they Google you and they see your videos and it kind of all meshes together, right? You've had a lot of passive business coming in from this, but if you don't get that passive business right away, you get the names of the people in that 9,000 person database that actually watch your videos and click on the link saying they're interested or buying or selling a house, because we put those call to action links in those emails.
Right.
Best rates with calling your open and click reports that we send you?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
They're actually awesome. I actually looked, the last list that I got, we had about 2,500 people that received my last video. And our open rate was about 20%.
That's incredible. That's very good. What was the subject?
I don't remember what that subject was, but it was over 600 people clicked and opened the email, which was awesome. I mean,
how many people click through to watch the video though? The click-through rate.
That was it. It was 600.
600 people click through.
I believe so. Yeah.
Well, that's very high.
I'm just looking at it. Oh wait. So wait, no, click through is about 90.
90. Okay.
Yeah.
So you had 90 people.
Right. So it's 90 clicks and out of the 600 total.
Great. So what you would do is you would prioritize.
Opens and yeah.
We have a little bit of delay. Sorry, I'm talking over you.
Sorry.
You would call those 90 people and you follow up with them. Exactly. That whittles down that whole list down to people who are probably pretty interested maybe in real estate in Vero Beach. And just
to confirm what I said, less than half of them have phone numbers.
Interesting.
So, it's, and the interesting thing now I'm working with BombBomb too. So now I can I can call the people that click through and I can send a BombBomb video to the rest, which can be a generic video and just type in the remainder of the emails and not even do individuals, just do, 80, just send out a BombBomb video to 80 people saying, thanks for clicking through and watching our video this month. We look forward to hearing from you. And if you have any content you'd like to discuss, please let us know. And it looks personal.
That's great. So you don't have to actually call those 90.
If I can't, right? Some of them we don't have phone numbers for, so.
Message them, try to find them on Facebook, send them a message. I wonder if Facebook is still asking to pay $1 to actually end up in their inbox. Remember that? You could pay $1 to actually end up in someone's Facebook. And that was really a while back ago. That was one of the ways they're trying to raise revenue when they went public.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're calling the open and click reports. Now let's talk about, I want to try to get the most tangible results out of this as possible. So you're spending $550 or $5 whatever a month with viral. You're spending $2,000 or whatever on radio, $2,500, so $2,500 to $3,000 a month on marketing. What's the return on investment? And does it work? How do you make that tangible for someone that needs wants to see numerical results?
So here's the way that I've always made decisions about marketing that I'm investing in. How many deals do I have to do to make it make sense? And it just makes everything so simple when you just look at it that way. When I started with radio and I said, wow, so in order for me to do this, I'm going to have to probably spend between $2,000 and $3,000 a month every month for however long. Is it going to be worth it? And then it was like, okay, that's like a half a deal, a third of a deal. How does that not pay off? Same thing with viral. $525 a month, that's a tenth of a deal. It's like anything to me that I can break it down in a way that I can say, how many more transactions can I do? And how can I also increase my reputation in my marketplace at the same time? I don't know of anything else I can do that with.
The key is the money was worth less to you than someone that had no money at the time. And what I'm trying to get at is that you were making good money by being prospecting. So for you to spend the $3,000 wasn't really that big of a deal. Money's important, but it wasn't like you were taking away from you were borrowing the money on a credit card to spend it.
Well, now you're getting back into people's fundamental beliefs about money. This goes back to when I first joined coaching full time in 2003. When you go, oh my gosh, I have no contacts, I basically have no money, I have no business, but let me just spend $1,000 a month on coaching. You have to have this strong belief in yourself and your desire to succeed to take that leap of faith. And most people don't have the lack of fear. The fear is what's going to stop anyone from doing anything and taking that leap of faith to grow their business.
Yeah, but you were making probably $10,000 a month when you spent the one.
But not when I first got here. No, I wasn't making anything really.
You spent the $1,000 with no money. All right, yeah. that takes a lot of trust. I'm just saying is that you did a very good job of bootstrapping the capital so you can spend on the marketing through a prospecting foundation. You didn't go to the marketplace with really no money or borrowing money without strong prospecting skills and spend the money on marketing and do it backwards.
No, you have to start with, you have to get things going before you start spending money for marketing for sure.
Okay. So let's talk deals then. So last year you did how many deals?
Last year was about 84 deals.
Then what's the GCI of that? Gross commission income to you?
To me, last year was just over 600,000.
Yeah, you have very minimal expenses. So you have what?
Less than 10%.
Yeah, 30% of that went to marketing. You have 2 assistants. You probably kept 80-90% of that money.
Yes, absolutely.
Sounds like a good business to me.
It's a good business.
All right, help a lot of people. You pay well. This year, what's different this year you're going to do than last year?
The difference this year is that we're going to start working with some virtual assistants in the background to really streamline our processes and, like I said, get back to more intense prospecting to now complement the marketing, because we kind of shifted so far into the marketing side. Now my goal is to get back into the prospecting to really just create a more balanced, predictable business.
So you're going to hire some prospectors to help make calls for you then, right?
Well, I think what I figured out is that I need to be a better example for prospecting for my team, because they haven't seen me in action the way that I feel that they should, the way that I always did before. And so for a new agent to come in and see how Kelly's business looks now, they think, well, you know, I can't create what Kelly created, and nor should they as part of my team. That's my job. That's, you know, I'm the rainmaker. But they also haven't seen what happens when you prospect consistently, however many hours a day. They haven't heard the role plays and the script practice and all of the things that it takes to be able to talk to people the way we need to talk to people in order to, you know, to show them the value of our business. And so that's really something that I have to do now to focus on growing my team.
So you're hiring more admin help to take even more of the admin work off, so you can prospect and lead by example with the people in your office.
Exactly.
You're not hiring VAs to do the prospecting. That's
no.
Okay.
I want to get back to doing it. I really I love talking to the people.
I should have changed the title of the event to not lessen the prospecting grind, because you want to go back into the grind. You love it. I
do love it. I mean, really, you could sit all day and wait for the phone to ring, which is great. I mean, it's nice. But at the end of the day, if you're not talking to people all day long, what have you got? I mean, that's what makes our business fun and interesting, is all the different people and the different personalities and the situations, and helping each individual person get what they want.
Okay. So one of the things at Viral, as you all know, is that we start you with getting around up all your email addresses, asking what questions can be answered through an email. You start publishing your 2 videos a month. You start following the people watching the videos. And we keep doing that forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. It's a consistent, proven, repeatable process to get business from your database all the way forever. But on top of that, we like to kind of jam in some extra strategies. And a lot of them are no extra charge to kind of complement.
I think that's amazing. Are you going to keep it that way?
Well, yeah, I plan to. Absolutely.
Okay, good. Okay,
because, well, you know, just the economics of our business is not everyone gets their videos in, or someone skips that. Like, everyone here is on salary. Everyone's on. So in other
words, I get to capitalize on the people that aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Exactly. Means I get every single month. I have extra labor. I had extra labor left over every month. So I said, awesome. Look, you know, I don't know if it's consistent, so I don't really want to bill for it. Let's just give it away, and just tell people. You know, if people want to do this, let's let them do it. Let's crush it, right? So why don't we talk about some of the other things that we've been doing to complement that core program of the 2 videos a month that you're doing with Viral?
Okay.
I mean, whatever. I don't even know what it is. I'm sure you're doing something.
You don't know. I probably don't know either. We might ask my assistant, but no. I mean, for instance, we do. You guys do branding for us on all of our property virtual tours. So they put my layering in the front that has my team logo and my lead in and all those, and they all go up on YouTube, which is great.
So your team's sending us the photos. Yeah, of all your listing, and we're editing and branding them.
Yes. Which, you know, it's not a big deal. I don't know what it takes. I'm not the tech person, but I'm sure just to put that initial layer on the front, it's great, because it's just, it creates a differentiation on our stuff on YouTube and on the internet. It looks different than everybody else's, which is wonderful. We did some SoundCloud interview testimonials, so that was great.
So we're calling, I got somebody I hired in our office that does nothing but call your clients within a week of closing to interview them about their experience on a recorded phone line. Right. Then we transcribe it and put that recording up on your website to not only build videos of you, but also just stack your website full of success stories. Like make the moat so far on your business that competitors can't even touch.
Right. I also do I do all the client review possibles that I can do. So Zillow reviews, Realtor.com reviews. I also do video testimonials either before or at my closings. And so we send those in to you guys, and you edit those up for us, which are always nice.
We've done all that no charge, right? My guys haven't charged any more for that?
Yes, Frank.
I don't know. I want to make sure of this.
I'm afraid we're going to get off this call and Frank's going to be in the office yelling, why are you doing all this stuff for free?
If we're doing it for free, I have the time. I'll tell you if we got to charge you. But that's great. Keep going. Yeah. What else are we doing?
No, I mean, listen, whatever. Of course, all the masterminds and just the networking with the other clients that you have. And I mean, it's all there. Honestly, I think there's so much available, and I hate to sound like a viral pitch, but half the time I don't even take advantage of most of the stuff that you do, like watching everyone else's video, hangouts and all of the stuff that you put up, because there's just so much knowledge to be had, and there's only so many hours in a day.
Well, that's where our job comes in, is to say, look, I know this proven plan of the emails and the videos and calling, that works. Everyone needs to be doing that. And then after I kind of figure out where your business is at, so you got a different business. I mean, on these, when you go to the
well, and that's the thing. Not everybody fits into that same box. I watch some videos and I go, oh wow, that agent's awesome. I want to be like that. And then you see somebody else.
30 agents working for them.
Everybody's working different. Yeah.
You are on what I would call the 100% rainmaker producer model. That you keep a lot of the money yourself. You're doing the work, which is great. You love it. Usually you find the people running the business models that hate it. They don't like talking to people, so they force themselves to figure out how can I lever myself out to the team or whatever it is. So if you go through and watch all these other database marketing hangouts,
happy medium.
Yeah,
happy medium would be nice.
So let's talk about some other tips. So just for everyone watching, thank you for watching so far. I hope you've enjoyed. I love talking to you.
You love talking to me? I love talking.
I do.
To you.
I think everyone's enjoying our energy on the hangout here. On the right side over here, the reason we do these live, and I say this all the time, is that I want you to ask questions. So feel free to, go in the Q&A box, ask Kelly a question, write it out really clear so I can articulate it clearly to Kelly because she can't see it. I'll share it with her, and then we'll answer it. And while we're waiting for some Q&A to come in, Kelly, that's why I like to do these live. Why don't you tell us some other tips? You're obviously very successful with somehow, in some way, just by spending that amount of money every single month on some radio and viral marketing, you're getting all these people to call you, and you become the Rita of your market, which is a great achievement.
See, even you remember Rita. Half an hour later, you still remember Rita. This is the goal.
Yeah, that's the goal. All right. So I always want to align to get where you want. What other tips? What do people know to be successful at this? So like if someone wants to actually jump in and do viral marketing, or they want to go buy radio or whatever, they want to go spend money on marketing to complement their prospecting, just tell me and give me things that you've learned, mistakes you made that people can use to get success.
I think if I had to pinpoint one thing, it would be don't reinvent the wheel. There's enough people out there, whatever the business is, that are successful, that know how to do it, what to do, and just do what they do. Model their behavior. Follow what they're teaching. Pick their brains. Take them to lunch. Figure out what it is that they do on a daily basis and just do the same thing. It's not really that complicated.
Well, you've done a good job of connecting.
And figure out how to apply it to your world.
Well, you've done a really good job of connecting with all these other top agents in the country. I mean, through the rate group that you've joined through radio, you're involved in the viral marketing mastermind, you're going to Chicago with all that. I mean, you travel and you network and you get ideas outside of the maybe a singular methodology you're taught to grow your business.
I think the important thing is probably my life has been very different than a lot of other people. And as you know, real estate agents have probably a very high divorce rate, right? Because, if you do this at a high level and you're a little bit crazy, it creates a very...
any entrepreneur.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Spoken from the man who's getting married tomorrow.
Monday.
You really have to have a pretty strong support system on the home front, and someone that understands what you're doing and is in the same game with you, and can give you the freedom to be that creative person that you are. Because, if you're someone, if you're female, for instance, and you've got 3 kids at home, it's really hard to dive in and be this level of crazy and still be the full-time mom and the full-time wife and the full-time this. And there's not going to be a balance in your life. You're definitely going to be out of balance. And I mean, we struggled with this for a long, long time. I almost got divorced, but of course, in hindsight now, we've gotten through that. The kids are older. My husband and I are in a great place. But it doesn't come without a lot of struggle and a lot of sacrifice. And I think a lot of people probably maybe aren't willing to make those kind of sacrifices because they want so badly to have that balance and have it all. And it's hard to do that.
It is. I think I'll be dealing with even more of that with my 5-month-old, and
there you go.
Viral and helping people and getting married in Maui on Monday to the love of my life, who happens to be the daughter of a Keller Williams regional owner. So the real estate blood in my runs deep here at the Closets family.
But you're going into it with both of you have an understanding of this. But most people, when they get into real estate, they just think they got a job selling real estate. I mean, and I've hired agents who come in and they think, oh, I'm going to go sell some houses. And then they go, holy crap, this is crazy. I can't live like this. I'm on the computer till 10 o'clock at night. I'm up at, and I'm going, my first question is, what time do you get up in the morning? And they're like, oh, 7:30. You got to be up at like 4, maybe 4:30. How are you going to get everything done in a day?
5 here.
And I mean, just right.
Cool. Well, we don't have any other questions coming in. Oh, we do. Great. Thank you, Kim. Kim Barber has a question.
I know Kim Barber.
All right. Hello, Kelly.
Hi,
Kim. Nice. Our worlds are colliding again. Are you measuring ROI? Did you mention how long you have been using the viral marketing plan?
She must have came in late.
Yep. Answer the question.
Okay. Hi, Kim. So I've been with Viral somewhere between 2 and 3 years, and they've been helping me with that for that amount of time. And what was the other part of the question, Frank?
I mean, how are you measuring ROI?
I'm not really measuring. I mean, we do track where our transactions come from, but as I said, it really becomes an accumulation effect when you have all of these different avenues of marketing going on at the same time. And people say to me, I just see you everywhere. I see you on TV. I hear you on the radio. I see you on social media. I see the company you work for is publishing, your number one agent in this month, or whatever the case may be. And it just becomes an overall awareness of, gosh, this girl, she sells real estate. And people just begin to have that in their head all the time. It's hard to measure. I used to, and I'm in awe of people that are able to measure it, but I have not figured out a way to measure it yet.
Let me give you Kim, let me share with you how I would approach this a little bit more concretely to measure ROI. So to hire a viral marketer, you're going to spend $6,600 a year to hire us, which is about $550 a month. All right. So $6,600 a year to hire us, which is cheap compared to hiring someone for salary to do this. I mean, you can't hire someone for $8 an hour for that. So we package it, and that's how our business exists. So you never want to spend more than 10% of the deal to get it. So if you read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, you should spend about maybe 10% of your GCI on marketing. So if you're doing $10,000 a month on average, you have a $1,000 a month lead gen marketing budget. If you're doing $100,000 a month, which would be amazing, you have a $10,000 a month marketing budget, right? So the name of the game is to give viral marketing $6,600, and then 1 year you receive back $66,000 of commissions, right? Ideally from a database of referrals and repeat business. So all you have to do is, if you're going to assign that deal to viral, that affected it. Now, it may not be 100%. It's probably a spectrum of how much viral affected that deal. You just got to simply ask at every closing, or when a deal comes and you get paid, hey, I make these videos. Did that influence your decision in any way to hire me? On a scale of 1 to 10. Now, they say 10, great. That's one deal, 100%. That builds up to that $66,000 on your spreadsheet. If they say, yeah, I'll give that a 5, well, you assign half of that deal on your way up to the $66,000. You follow me on that, Kelly?
Mm-hmm.
On maybe how that might be a good way of measuring it. But
Yeah.
But here's the reality. I don't really know anyone that does that, even though we teach that. Because it's just, once you get the commission, it's like, great, onward. You don't go back to the spreadsheet and calculate it in. So if there's any other questions that come on here, we'll go ahead and stop this here and just let everyone know that, Kelly, thank you for doing this. Thank you for coming and sharing this knowledge so freely with everyone and helping lots of people. And hopefully you've learned how to maybe lessen the grind of prospecting or enhance your prospecting so you can do more of it, like Kelly here. But we'd love to be able to help you here at Viral to help you get some of the same results Kelly has. If you go to our website, getviral.com, VYRAL, you can see client examples, testimonials. We have a huge success story library under results, and we have a whole bunch of other hangouts just like these under the database marketing hangout. We click hangouts. And the whole idea of that is to educate you. So when you're ready to kind of start having that first conversation, you can request a free strategy session on the website, and our guys will contact you. We'll start figuring out, like, okay, if you were to spend money with us, what would be the reasonable ROI you would expect to get that $66,000 based upon several factors of your business. Oh, Kim says, I hired Viral a couple weeks ago. She's a client. Kim might even notice. I apologize. She just made her first 2 videos, which is why she was late. I know how to measure ROI, and I will ask that question. So I was wondering Kelly's ROI. So hi, Kim.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
You know, that's one of the challenges when you have a growing company is keeping track of everyone who's a client and who's not, because they're working with our guys. And Kim, thank you for letting me know.
Well, I'll tell you, that's how I know. If we're talking about the same Kim Barber from the Virginia area, I met Kim actually through my coaching company, and that's how we connected because we were doing the same kinds of activities on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were even accountability partners at one point.
Okay. Well, thanks, Kim. And then Andy Spears has a question. I'd like to speak with Kelly off air about a few more specific things like coaching, BombBomb use, and Viral. BombBomb, by the way, we have BombBomb with Viral Marketing. It's awesome. It's literally integrates into Gmail, and
yeah, it does. Really cool.
You can open up Gmail, like basically hold down a button, record a video, and send a personal one-to-one video message up to a prospect. It's great for when you have like buyer leads, seller lead, like leads that you're trying to like connect with.
It makes you different. It just makes you different.
Yeah. With and BombBomb's for one-to-one, got it. Viral's for one-to-many, but also you have the whole online promoting the video online benefit, which you're not going to get that with the BombBomb. All right, and so he wants to connect with you, and he's in Stuart, Florida.
Oh, he's just south of me. Who is this?
Andy Spears, Spears, and you probably messaged each other on Facebook afterwards.
Okay.
All right. So we'll go ahead and end the hangout there. Thank you everyone so much for attending, and we'll see you on the next live database marketing hangout to find out what's working, to build, nurture, and get business from your #1 business asset, your existing customer or unconverted prospect database. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Frank.